Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm sitting here with my friend Chad from Kel-Tec, who just happened to be in Northwest Indiana at an Arby's when I found him.
Totally random.
Totally random, and he happened to have a whole bunch of guns with him.
That's how I roll.
And that's, we said, well, hey man, after you're done with your sandwich, you want to come out to the property, do a little bit of shooting? And he said, yeah, and so here we are.
Who would turn that down?
Right? So, what we have here is, well, actually what we're going to do, guys, is a couple of different videos. Since he happens to be in town, today we're at the close local MAC range, and we're going to do a little bit of shooting with the bullpups that you see here and have a discussion about kind of the evolution of the Kel-Tec bullpups. And then tomorrow we're going to have a long range session. We're going to take them out and stretch the legs on these rifles a little bit. He's telling me this thing shoots really tiny groups, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and we'll be able to do that out at the 1,000-yard range. And then we'll also do some accuracy testing with some of the other rifles that you see here. Plus there's one gun over here that's really kind of special I'm anxious to talk about. But so Chad, tell me, man, first of all, the whole bullpup concept, this, which is the RFB, was Kel-Tec's first venture into the bullpup market with a centerfire rifle, right?
Correct.
So when this thing came out, I mean, a 308 bullpup, there wasn't anything else on the market, was it? Am I missing something? Were there any other 308 bullpups that were commonly available in the U.S. market?
If you don't know, then I definitely don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to go with no. I can't remember. I can't think of any other than, you know, oddball conversions of, you know, maybe an AK or something somebody had done. Yeah. So this thing was kind of where you got into the bullpup market. And since then, it's evolved into rifles that everybody's eagerly awaiting. I've been playing with for a couple of months, the next evolution of the Kel-Tec Bullpup in 5.56. But this rifle, tell us a little bit about it. How did it come about? What makes it unique? And the operating mechanism behind it, you know, how it ejects specifically is what's of interest to me, and how that's evolved into the latest design, the RDB.
Yeah, that's been the big thing about this gun. RFB stands for Rifle Forward Ejecting Bullpup. This all came out of George's mind, just like everything else at Kel-Tec. And he just wanted to do something that was forward ejecting, and then picked a caliber after that, went with 308, and so here we are with this. And he was a real big fan of the FAL, so he went with the FAL metric mags for this thing. At the time, they were like $2 to $3 a piece. You know, you could find them everywhere. They were surplus. So, you know, just like anything else, eventually things kind of get outdated. So this gun will eventually evolve into the RDB, so it'll be actually a downward ejecting gun at some point. So we'll have a 308 downward ejecting gun.
That I'm really looking forward to. Now the FAL mags, it's kind of funny, like you said, when they first came out with them, they were like $3 a magazine and everywhere. Nowadays, trying to find an original military surplus magazine is darn near impossible, which is mind-boggling to me given how many of them were manufactured throughout the Cold War.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, they built millions and millions and millions of them. It's like people are sitting on them somewhere.
They got gobbled up. Yeah.
They got gobbled up, and now you know if you get a good quality military magazine for $20, you're lucky.
Oh yeah,
you know,
if you can find it. Yeah.
If you can find it. So I'm happy to have the ones that I have. Now you guys are shipping these currently with thermolds?
Thermolds,
Thermal polymer magazines.
They make a great magazine. It's been working fine. So I can't really attest to any of their other mags, but I know that the 308 ones work great. They do need a little bit of a break-in period, you know, just when we go to the range, put a box through it. After that, the feed lips start to work out a little bit, and then you're fine. Cool.
Yeah, I switched right over to my, because I was lucky enough to have a bunch of original military FAL mags, so I just, you know.
So now we know where they all went.
Yeah, right. I just admitted to something. I only have two, guys. I only have two. But yeah, that's why this one has that gorgeous black FAL magazine in it. Now this rifle, with its forward ejecting, I guess I got to take the magazine out of it here really quick. Make sure it's clear. Bolts lock the rear, guys. I'm not muzzling Chad. He would tell me if I were. But so the gun locks open on the last shot fired, but it ejects out the front, and so it's throwing its spent cases out here, which, you know, that's always been kind of the big problem with bullpups, right? What do you do with the spent casing?
Yeah, it's very interesting. This has a dual extractor on it, so as the bolt slams home and feeds in a live round, when you fire it, the extractor comes back and flips up, so it's got a hold of the empty case. As it comes back and feeds a fresh round in, it shoves the empty case up into this ejection chute here, which allows it to fall out of the front. So the entire gun is totally proprietary. Again, every last bit of it came out of George's mind. So.
And George is the owner of Kel-Tec.
Correct, yeah.
Some folks may not know who George is. I had the pleasure of meeting George. The guy certainly comes up with some really interesting designs. This was interesting, but the new RDB is something that really piqued my interest when I saw it at SHOT Show. So this thing's a lot of fun. I've had a great time with this rifle. Get my magazine locked in. I took this thing to a number of different bullpup shoots and stuff like that. If you guys saw me out at the Bullpup Shoot just recently, I brought this rifle with me with a whole bunch of ZQI ammo, and I was just handing it to people. Here, go shoot it. Tell me what you think. And shooting the snot out of it. Something else you might notice here on the end of it, this is a Griffin Armament 30 SD can. and you'll notice that it just kind of pops onto a standard bird cage if you want it to. I have a Griffin muzzle device on it, which is a 2-chamber brake, which is really pleasant for the shooter, not so pleasant for the guy standing next to you. But this thing quickly locks on, just like their 5.56 cans.
I love their suppressors.
And I love their suppressors
it looks like
too.
They're made for our guns.
And it looks like it's made for the gun, because when they went to this new design where it has this square pattern in the can, it matches the checker pattern that you guys have, that you're like pretty much on all of your firearms. So they just look like they're made for each other.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about these guns as well is they're completely ambi, and that was part of the deal when George was designing it. So when you do suppress that and you suppress this, there's a lot less gas than you would get out of a traditional platform rifle.
I've noticed that. Yeah. I've really noticed it with my RDB. I've shot it more suppressed than this. I just started suppressing this one, and they have adjustable gas regulators on them, guys, and the manual tells you exactly how to tune the gas settings. So when you put a can on it, you can tune it so the gun's not beating itself apart.
Right, exactly.
When it's running suppressed.
So, and you can dial it specifically for your particular load,
right?
Well, like whatever ammo you choose to run.
In that regard, it's a lot like the FAL, which had the adjustable gas system. That basically when you're tuning an FAL, you fire it until it locks open, then you give it 2 extra clicks and you stop, and it's tuned for that ammo.
That's exactly how you want to run it.
So let's talk about this. That's your rifle. This is my rifle. I want my rifle back. Go ahead and lock it open here. So this is the new RDB, and what's RDB stand for?
Rifle Downward Ejecting Bullpup.
So see, you got RFB for forward ejecting and D for downward ejecting, and that, you guys have seen my video on that. It's basically kicking the empty case out right here. Now when I first saw this thing at SHOT Show, I was blown away. Actually, it was at Eric's shoot when you showed it to me, and I said, show me the insides, because what I'm always concerned with is the complexity. Take a look at the FS2000, for example. It's a brilliant design, but when I first took it apart, I was like, oh my gosh, there's just little tiny plastic parts moving.
Where's the schematics? Yeah,
right. I mean, it runs great, but it just looks like a nightmare. So I wanted to see the internals of this thing, and I talked about this in the original video. It blew me away at how simple it was, because basically what the gun's doing is taking the spent casing, dragging it over the magazine, and right behind it, it's throwing the empty out behind the magazine, picking up a fresh round going home, and wow, now it ejects behind the mag, and it's not throwing left, right, or forward.
Exactly.
And so again, very shooter friendly, and it's going to work well in CQB situations if you're shooting out of a vehicle or anything like that. I've really found this downward ejection to be awesome. Some guys have said, well, it's throwing the brass right here if you're shooting prone. I've shot it prone. I mean, if you got sleeves on, it's a good thing, but it's not absolutely horrible. You shoot these things in competition.
I do, yeah. We've actually developed a bag for it. The bag will come out as an accessory, but it holds 90 empties, and it's got flex steel on the bottom. So when you want to empty the bag, you just pinch it, and all your shells drop out, which is great for keeping the rounds off of you. And also, if you collect your brass, it's a really nice way to do it.
I'm not a big reloader, but I can understand the value of that, because most everybody out there in today's economy reloads.
Sure.
And being able to keep your brass.
Absolutely.
But even then, I've noticed, like when we're out here on the range, we're shooting thousands of rounds. Everywhere you can tell where I was shooting the gun, because there's a little pile of brass right where I was standing, right?
Well, here's the other benefit of having the bag on there too, is that if you are shooting a suppressed, it's going to trap all that gas too. So
I didn't even think of that.
Actually, no gas coming out. Yeah.
And we'll show you guys that. We're going to shoot this. I'll do some mag dumps with this thing, suppressed. Of the bullpups I've shot, this thing definitely handles the gas in the face a lot better than most everything else. I just recently did a video on the Tavor X95. Everybody's asking, how does it suppress, And this thing, with the Tavor, I get a black line on my face because you get the seepage through the ejection port. This thing just seems to be probably one of the best guns out there for use with a suppressor. And here you see, this is the K version. This is the M4 SD 2K, which means short. So it's a baffle or two shorter than a standard model, but that's just a standard A2 bird cage. This came right from Kel-Tec. That's their bird cage.
Still incredibly quiet though.
And it's so quiet. Yeah. Yes. And it's for a short suppressor on this gun. It just works so well. Now what's the barrel length on these bad boys? Here, I'm trying to get it.
It's a 17.4 on that one.
So you got a 17.4 inch barrel, and that's primarily to meet overall length requirements.
It also comes in a 20 inch as well. Yep.
Oh wow, I haven't seen the 20 incher. Yep. So that brings us to the next question. Every time I've shown up in the video with this thing, everybody goes, it's a unicorn gun, Kel-Tec isn't really making them, they're teasing everybody. You guys are actually in production with these, but you're just getting spun up because it's a brand new product?
Exactly, exactly. That's how it always is with us. A KSG, PMR30, CMR30, same thing. So now you can go to a gun shop. I just saw 2 in the gun shop today, 2 KSGs in there.
Yes.
So yeah, I hate to ask people to be patient, but you just got to kind of give us a little bit of slack on that end. Let us get tooled up for it and start cranking them out. And once we do, you'll start seeing them like you do the KSGs and the PMR30s now.
I actually did a blog post a while back. Guys, I'll put a link in the description below. you should probably go read that. I talk about your production capabilities.
That was a great piece, yeah.
And I showed, you know, actually the guns being in production. You can actually see all these guns being built that people say, oh, Kel-Tec, you know, they come up with great designs, but they build 5 guns a year. It's like, no, they build like 5 guns a second. It's just that the demand is so high that it's really hard to keep them on the shelves. And then the gougers get a hold of them and run them right over to gun broker, and a gun that, you know, normally sells for $700, they're trying to get 15 out of.
Yeah, and for us, it's a good problem to have. To, you know, we're so happy that everybody's, you know, loving our stuff, and the demand is so high. But do know that we are trying to build these things up so that you guys can get them, get your hands on them. We're not just building a few here and there and, you know, trying to tease the market. So, you know, as a representative of Kel-Tec, I just want to thank all you customers for being patient, hanging in there with us.
Hey, Chad, man, I think I got a target downrange you're really going to enjoy shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And be patient for this, guys, because this is really one of my favorite bullpups. I just enjoy shooting this thing so much. If you're at the Iraq veteran shoot or saw any video footage of the one we just went to that was rained out so horribly, I'm looking at it right here. I have a little bit of rust on this gun. This gun was out in the rain all day long, and I was just handing it to people. Here, go shoot it. Here, shoot it. I was keeping magazines. I just
handed it to me.
I did. I handed it to you. And it was just soaking wet. I didn't lube it. What I'm doing is I'm just beating the hell out of it. You know, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to break the thing. So I'm just running it. I'm cleaning it occasionally, just because I shoot it so much, and I'm shooting it suppressed mostly. And again, the thing's just been
well, I found since the piston system here, you know, everything's captured up here. The gun itself really doesn't get all that dirty. I mean, you can run it for a long time without, you know, getting your action area all that dirty.
And this piston system also seems to capture the gas or something, because again, it's like my Tavor, I have that piston pop right next to my ear, because the gas piston is right here.
Right.
This is a little bit further out. It just seems, the perception is that this is a very quiet gun to suppress. Even with this short suppressor on it, we're all like, gosh, that's goofy quiet with standard M855 ball.
Yeah, a lot of things by default, the recoil, the way it recoils is another default thing. Because of the design of the gun, the bolt never travels back to your shoulder, so you're not getting, the gun's not knocking on you all the time. So I'm sure you noticed the minimal recoil in the gun. Well, that's why. So
basically what he's talking about is because it has such a long travel to the bolt, it has to draw it all the way to the rear to kick that spent case out back here. That bolt travels all the way, and the spring actually gets to catch it because it has such a long throw. It's a lot of the reason why, like, the Scar is such a light recoiling rifle is because it has a very long throw bolt in it. Same concept here. And then you put a muzzle brake on it like your competition gun, and guys, I'm not kidding.
It's like a 22.
It is. It doesn't move, and it's obnoxious. You don't want to stand next to that thing. But man, it's like bam, 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 and it's just knocking the heck out of the center of the target. So yeah, and also you'll notice I got the MRO on here. I finally picked up a second one. I have the Midwest Industries quick detach mount on here, so I'm going to be running this MRO on here for a while. I'm going to put a PS4, an Armacite PVS 14 behind it, and I may actually take this out for some coyote hunting.
Cool.
This bullpup is ideal for getting out of vehicles and running around hunting predators, man. It's just so small, it beats the snot out of a conventional rifle in that regard.
Absolutely.
Speaking of hunting, one thing I want to talk about is this. You guys, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you really should, because if you go by Instagram, I'm going to ask a question about this part of the RFB right here.
What was its original intent?
What was its original intent? Swing by Instagram. I'm going to post a picture. Tell us what you think and read what we have to say about it. Yeah, do that. And follow me on Instagram.
You're going to want to do it.
You're going to want to do it. All right, so next up, so now these are 5.56 rifles.
Correct.
These two are 308s. Now this is another new product which is based on the RDB, the downward ejecting, but this one has more of a traditional wrist stock on it. Still ejects back here. Matter of fact, this stock kit will actually fit on your pistol grip version or vice versa.
It will.
But there's something else that's different about this one.
6.5 Grendel.
It is 6.5 Grendel. As you guys know, I've become a 6.8 SPC fan recently, but I really am giving serious consideration to 6.5 Grendel. Grendel can shoot a slightly heavier bullet at a slightly higher velocity. I think it's the up-and-coming cartridge. 6.8 is kind of one of those things that really got a lot of excitement, and the excitement kind of petered out a little bit. 6.5 seems to be the next up-and-coming cartridge. If you want to talk about a hard-hitting caliber with minimal recoil, uses in standard magazines.
In fact, you'll see this gun recoil is about the same as the 5.56. And
that's just unbelievable. But I just wanted to show you guys this in the 6.5 Grendel. And what do you call this? The RDB-C?
The C model, yep.
The C model. Now, what does it stand for? California?
Stands for Chad.
It
stands for compact.
Compact. Yeah. So will this be legal in all 50 states because of its design?
It will, yeah. And even California, you don't have to deal with the ridiculous bullet button scenario out there because it has no pistol grip.
Has no pistol grip.
Yeah. And this is a 20-inch barrel here, so it'll come in a 20 or 24-inch barrel in the 6.5 Grendel.
And it is threaded?
It is.
So you'll be able to suppress these as well.
Oh yeah.
That's just really cool. And what's kind of neat about it is it looks a little bit awkward, but its shoulders really nice. It figures we'd have the military doing exercises about the same time we're shooting video this afternoon.
That's cool.
All right, so here it is, guys. The RDB-C. We will do some shooting with this. It's in 6.5 Grendel, but you're also going to make them available in 5.56 as well.
Yep.
All right. Let's
and to answer the question, it's the exact same operating system as the 5.56 version.
So it's the exact same
rifle.
Everything's
the same. Yep.
And out of curiosity, I think I know the answer to this, but if I buy it in 6.5 Grendel or 5.56, can I switch calibers, or you have to buy it in that caliber? Or
well,
do you know yet?
You can actually. If you change the furniture out, you can put this furniture on this gun here. So if you have a 5.56 and you wanted the pistol grip in a 6.5, you can just switch this.
I mean the barrels, the
out.
calibers, are they interchangeable?
The barrels themselves are not interchangeable. It's a lot like the RFB, where the actual receiver part is attached to the barrel, pressed into the barrel.
Okay.
However, on the RDB, the serial number is on the cover, on the rear cover of the gun, so the stock of the gun. Yeah, so you can actually just switch the barrel and receiver out, and you can change your caliber that way.
I'm not even going to ask how that got approved. That's cool. I like that. That's awesome.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
I'm not going to complain then. Yeah. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right?
So they're very, yeah, you can switch them around. It's a pretty neat design.
What's the price going to be on these? Do you guys know yet?
On the 6.5 Grendel, I'm not sure. We've actually got the RDB 5.56 version down to 12 and change. So wow. Yeah, it started out. MSRP was going to be 15 and change, but we got it down to 1250 or 1280 or something like that.
MSRP, so
yeah, MSRP.
So that's highly competitive compared to other bullpups.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this will fall right in there, in that same price range somewhere.
Good grief! I mean, Bores are $1749. AUGs I think are still right up around $2,000.
Yeah, the goal
2000's gone.
The goal was to try to come in under that. Yeah, so.
Wow.
It took a lot of cost analysis and building and going into production and stuff, but. Yeah, so we're really happy about that. We can bring the price down on it.
Well, let's go do some shooting. Let's. I got a target I think you're going to want to shoot.
It's about time. Let's do it.
All right.
Hitting the small plate. That's too easy. Hit. Hit. Same spot. That wind is pretty stiff. That's a hit.
That's a mil difference.
Hit.
I see where it's hitting to. It's hitting 11.
Yeah.
Look at the camera. The camera.
Yeah, that was a hit. I just don't know where. Hit, I think.
I really want to show you these new challenge targets we got, man. They're reactive. They're kind of cool. Check this out.